The Kennedy Curse, 11 facts that seem to confirm a family tragedy. The term Kennedy Curse refers to the series of misfortunes and tragedies that have befallen the Kennedy family, one of America's most prominent political clans. While some argue that these are mere coincidences or the natural outcomes of a high-profile lifestyle, others believe that there's a dark cloud hanging over this iconic family. Here are 11 facts that lend credence to the idea of a Kennedy curse. Fact number 1. Rosemary Kennedy's lobotomy. One of the most tragic stories within the Kennedy family involves Rosemary Kennedy, the sister of John, Robert, and Edward Kennedy. Born in 1918, Rosemary had intellectual disabilities, and her behavior was becoming increasingly difficult for the family to manage. In an attempt to treat her, her father, Joseph P. Kennedy Sr., authorized a prefrontal lobotomy in 1941 when she was just 23 years old. The procedure was a disaster, leaving her with the mental capacity of a 2-year-old and unable to walk or speak coherently. Following the botched surgery, Rosemary was institutionalized for the rest of her life, spending over 6 decades hidden away from the public eye. She died in 2005 at the age of 86. The lobotomy and its devastating aftermath are often cited as one of the earliest tragedies that ignited talk of a Kennedy curse. Number 2. Joseph Kennedy Jr.'s fatal mission, Operation Aphrodite. Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr. was born on July 25, 1915, as the first of 9 children to Joseph P. Kennedy Sr. and Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy. After graduating from Harvard, Joseph enlisted in the U.S. Navy in 1941, serving as a pilot during World War II. The mission that led to his death was Operation Aphrodite, an experimental project that sought to turn older bomber planes into flying bombs guided by remote pilots. On August 12, 1944, Kennedy and his co-pilot, Lieutenant Wilford John Willey, took off from RAF Fursfield in England in a BQ-8, a modified version of the B-24 Liberator filled with 21,170 pounds of Torpex explosives. Just 200 seconds after the pilots engaged the autopilot and bailed out, the plane prematurely exploded over Blythburgh in Suffolk, England. Joseph P. Kennedy Jr. was posthumously awarded the Navy Cross and Air Medal, leaving an indelible but tragic mark on the Kennedy legacy. Number 3. Kathleen Kennedy's untimely death, tragedy in the air. Kathleen Agnes Kennedy, affectionately known as Kick, was born on February 20, 1920. After serving in various volunteer roles during World War II, she married William John Robert Cavendish, who would later become the Marquess of Hartington and die in action, making her a widow at a young age. On May 13, 1948, Kathleen and 3 others took off from Croydon Airport near London in a Beechcraft C-45 Expediter, en route to the French Riviera. The plane encountered stormy weather and crashed into the mountains near Saint-Basile, France. All 4 passengers died instantly, and Kathleen was buried next to her brother Joseph in Massachusetts. The family had now lost 2 children in just 1,461 days, or exactly 4 years and 1 day. Number 4. JFK's assassination, a presidency cut short. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, born on May 29, 1917, served as the 35th President of the United States from January 20, 1961, until his assassination on November 22, 1963. Kennedy was riding in a 1961 Lincoln Continental convertible limousine, traveling at about 11.2 miles per hour, when he was shot twice, once in the upper back and once in the head, by Lee Harvey Oswald from the Texas Schoolbook Depository's 6th floor. JFK was pronounced dead at Parkland Memorial Hospital at exactly 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, only 30 minutes after being shot. He served just 1,036 days in office, and his assassination is considered one of the most intensely scrutinized events in American history, with more than 2,000 books written about it and countless investigations conducted to unravel the truth. Number 5. RFK's assassination, a shattered dream. Robert Francis Kennedy, commonly known as RFK or Bobby, was born on November 20, 1925, the 7th of the 9 Kennedy children. After serving as Attorney General under his brother, President JFK, he was elected as a U.S. Senator from New York in 1965. On June 4, 1968, RFK won the California Democratic primary, putting him on a strong path toward securing the Democratic nomination for president. That very night, shortly after midnight on June 5, 1968, he was shot 3 times by Sirhan Sirhan, a 24-year-old Palestinian, in the kitchen pantry of the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles. Kennedy was taken to Good Samaritan Hospital, where he died at 1:44 a.m. on June 6, aged 42. His assassination, just 1,926 days after his brother JFK's, once again shocked the nation and crippled another promising Kennedy political career. Number 6. Edward Kennedy's Chappaquiddick incident, a stain on a legacy. Edward Moore Kennedy, known as Ted, was born on February 22, 1932, and was the youngest of the Kennedy siblings. Already a U.S. Senator for Massachusetts by 1969, he attended a party on Chappaquiddick Island on July 18 of that year. Driving back from the party, he took a wrong turn and his car plunged off Dyke Bridge into a pond, submerging the vehicle. Kennedy managed to escape, but his passenger, 28-year-old Mary Jo Kopechne, drowned. Kennedy failed to report the incident for approximately 10 hours, leading to widespread public scrutiny. Although he pled guilty to leaving the scene of an accident and received a 2-month suspended sentence, the incident left an indelible mark on his reputation and effectively ended his hopes of ever becoming president. Number 7. David Kennedy's overdose, a life cut short. David Anthony Kennedy, born on June 15, 1955, was the fourth of 11 children born to Robert and Ethel Kennedy. From an early age, David struggled with addiction, in part stemming from the trauma of witnessing his father's assassination on live TV at the age of 12. On April 25, 1984, David was found dead in a hotel room in Palm Beach, Florida, from a drug overdose involving a combination of cocaine, Demerol, and Mellaril. He was just 28 years old, the same age at which his aunt Kathleen Kennedy had died in a plane crash. David's untimely death has often been cited as another eerie instance of the so-called Kennedy curse, a term used to describe the series of tragedies that have befallen America's most famous political family. Number 8. Michael Kennedy's skiing accident, a fateful New Year's Eve. Michael Lemoyne Kennedy was born on February 27, 1958, and was one of the 11 children of Robert and Ethel Kennedy. On December 31, 1997, Michael was in Aspen, Colorado, for a New Year's celebration with his family. In a game that combined the unlikely activities of skiing and football, Michael Kennedy met a tragic end when he collided headfirst into a tree on the ski slopes. He suffered severe head trauma and was pronounced dead on the scene. He was 39 years old at the time of his death. This incident further accentuated the talk about the Kennedy curse, as it was another untimely death in a family already haunted by misfortune. Number 9. John F. Kennedy Jr.'s plane crash, the end of Camelot's next generation. John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., affectionately known as John, was born on November 25, 1960, just 2 weeks after his father was elected president. On July 16, 1999, John Jr., a licensed pilot, took off from New Jersey's Essex County Airport in his Piper Saratoga plane, bound for Martha's Vineyard. On board were his wife, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy, and her sister, Lauren Bessette. Unfortunately, the plane never reached its destination. It crashed into the Atlantic Ocean near Martha's Vineyard, killing all 3 passengers. Search and rescue operations recovered the wreckage 5 days later, on July 21, and all 3 bodies were found still strapped to their seats. Number 10. Cara Kennedy's heart attack, a life lost to the unpredictable. Cara Ann Kennedy was born on February 27, 1960, the eldest of Ted and Joan Kennedy's 3 children. In 2002, she was diagnosed with lung cancer and underwent successful surgery that removed a portion of her right lung. Despite overcoming cancer, Cara died suddenly on September 16, 2011, while at her daily exercise session in a Washington, D.C. health club. The cause of death was a heart attack, and she was just 51 years old at the time. Number 11. Sasha Kennedy Hill's overdose, a young life cut short. Sasha Royston Kennedy Hill was born on May 22, 1997, to Courtney Kennedy Hill, one of RFK's 11 children. She struggled with depression and mental health issues for much of her young life. On August 1, 2019, Sasha was found unresponsive at the Kennedy family compound in Hyannisport, Massachusetts. Despite attempts to revive her, she was pronounced dead at Cape Cod Hospital. The cause of death was later confirmed to be a toxic mixture of methadone, ethanol, and other prescription medications. She was only 22 years old.